Hey everyone, it's Caylin, your petite witch, and today we are going to be making a spell jar. It's for my coworker who asked for protection and a little pick-me-up for when she's off work. The first thing I do is I cleanse. We're going to cleanse the bottle just like this, super simple. I always cleanse my space and myself, which you can't see me, but cleansing myself, a little extra. Put the incense out for now. This candle is for me and protection when I'm doing this kind of work. So we're gonna let that be lit the whole time. We're gonna start out with this ash that I made over the last few times that we've been lighting things with charcoal, kind of cleansing our home. You can make your own kind of salt, you can say, or protection salt. I'm gonna grind it up and really have the intention that it is really good protection salt, protection ash, whatever you want to call it. You can make this at home anytime you're burning anything with charcoal. Just keep it in a little jar, and then if you have some sort of mortar and pestle situation, oh wow, look at that. I bought this for, I want to say, really cheap. This really nice, wow. Sorry, I'm getting nerdy about how nice this is. Ooh, and it smells good. There's a bunch of different herbs in here. There's rosemary, which is good for protection. So I like to get it just pretty nice and smooth. So we went ahead and put the, I'm going to call it protection sand because it kind of looks like sand. It's literally just charcoal and herbs crushed up. You can use any leftover jar. This was like a Penzies jar that had shallots or something in it, and we just decided to reuse it. I'm gonna just write a little something, little protection symbols on this bay leaf before I go ahead and put it in the jar. It's gonna be personalized for either whoever you're making it for, or you can do, you know, just a basic pentagram situation. I'm going to leave this here for now, and we're going to put my little salt situation. Another little scoop. I like to just even it out on the bottom, and, you know, the most protection on the bottom the better. And then we're going to take our bay leaves with our word or symbol or sigil, and we're just going to crush her up. The reason I do this is because I like to have the energy of my hands with the intention of the symbol and the word protection. I just like to kind of use like the physical motion, and then you just kind of stuff them in there, and it is messy, and that is okay. Everyone makes jars differently. This is honestly just how I do it intuitively. It's how I've been doing it, and I see no reason to change it up now. Now we got our very strong, I'd say powerful intention of homemade protection, salt, sand, whatever. We got the protection symbol and energy of the bay leaf also at the bottom. Then we're going to add some salt, which, look at this little jar, isn't it so cute? We're going to add some salt for protection and purification. Again, if you make a mess, that is okay. And what I like to do is make sure that it is layered. Honestly, for just aesthetic purposes, you don't have to layer it. I just like layering. Normally, I would add tiny crystals at this point, but I don't have any at the moment. So we're gonna use mostly herbs for now, because that's what we got. Because my coworker has asked for peace and protection, I'm gonna do lavender after the salt, because we're trying to put as much calmness and serenity into this protection jar as possible. I'm going to do cat's claw bark. Now, what cat's claw bark is, it is found in the South American region, and it is traditionally used for many different things, whether it's like physical or spiritual. But in a spiritual context, it's used for like psychic protection. And my coworker had mentioned just having interesting things happen and wanting better sleep, and I figured that maybe she needs some psychic protection. And the reason it's called that is because it this bark looks like cat scratches, like on a tree, which I think is cool. And as I said that, my cat came out from under the bed, so I'm gonna assume that I'm doing this right as confirmation. There we go. We're gonna take some majorum, which is for peace, love, and comfort. And as I said earlier, we're trying to give as much peace as possible with the protection that she's looking for. Trying to layer color-wise as well, just so that it looks aesthetic. But as I'm putting this, I'm holding the intention again for peace and protection. Your herbs don't really do anything unless you know what they do. This is my favorite, rosemary. Rosemary to me is like the mother of everything. She is great for protection, bringing in abundance, giving clarity, all those kinds of things. So I like to add extra rosemary, honestly, to every jar that I do, because I've never had any complaints about it. And it also just smells amazing. I don't know if you can see, but we got the salt, the bay leaf, and it just kind of goes upward. We're actually going to do something that is pretty common, but I don't see a lot of people doing in their actual spell jars. Coffee grounds. So coffee has a lot of different spiritual meanings, but mainly it's used to speed up the process of whatever you're trying to manifest or whatever kind of spell work you're doing. I call it like, it's kind of like a huge accelerator for any sort of spell work, but also the physical process of coffee and what happens to it. It kind of is like a metaphor for like the cycle of life, and so I like to hold that intention as well for when I'm doing protection jars. And then we are going to do my favorite, jasmine. I like to say that she is that girl, she is everything, because she is cute, she smells good, and she's great for if you're going through a rough time and you really want more confidence in your life, which most people who, in my witchy opinion, who are looking for protection, they're also looking for some sort of self-love in the process. And so I like to kind of crush it up and add the petals. You can put them in like whole pieces, but I like the sound and the feeling of crushing it up, and it looks pretty. Jasmine is also great for like spiritual baths, promoting like peace, self-confidence, as well as intuition. We're gonna do some mugwort. She is, I like to call it like the witch's favorite, because that's kind of a lot. Mugwort is really good for protection, like not only in a spiritual sense against like negative energies, but like protection when you're sleeping, kind of helps with like nightmares, bad dreams, just feeling like maybe you're not feeling too great. It's great for any sort of divination work. Most people use them in their spell work, as do I. I'm gonna add a little more salt. Just at the top. Wanted to find an oil that I could use for spell work, and I ended up coming across this this local witch where we live, and she was like, you should definitely get this because a lot of people don't realize that it also says for ritual on the label. I'm actually gonna drip it in the bottle. It kind of has the intention of a lot of different things, but I'm gonna use it as the intention for just bringing like happiness, peace, clarity, and abundance, because it is called sunshine, and also it smells really good. It has coconut oil in it, and I think some sort of orange scent to it. You can see like the layers of it, and I like the layers. I'm actually gonna put more coffee just because I love coffee, and my coworker, she herself is a barista, and so I figured what more perfect way than putting coffee in this for her to speed up any intentions that she might have with this jar aside from protection. I did add my personal kind of salt at the bottom, but I am going to top it off with this black salt. It's very chunky. I am going to top it off with this because this is a protection jar. I just want to make sure that there is enough protection elements in this jar as possible. Aside from it looking cute, you know, the main purpose is to bring protection to the person that you're making these jars for. Now that we have the jar pretty much done, I feel like it's done. I'm not going to add anything more to it just because I feel like this is where we're at. I am going to seal this up really good. We're going to do string, charms, wax, more intention to finish off the jar, and then it will be ready to go. Here comes the most tedious part. So we are going to light this. Now the thing with wax is that you gotta just really get it on there. You gotta be careful also because you are dealing with fire, so just, you know, take your time with it and really try to get around all the sides, and it will drip, and that's perfectly fine. You can go in and kind of take it off with your hands later once it's cool. Now with this black candle, I'm just holding the intention that everything inside of the jar is going to be sealed up and protected, and the energy that I'm putting into this is intended for my coworker who needs protection. You can use any candle, I just like to use black, but I'd say that's pretty good. Okay, so I went ahead and decided that I was going to get more of this. I don't know if you can see. We're just kind of sealing it up a little more. These jars, they do last forever once you make them. Any intention you put in them will continue on, so I'd say that's pretty good. Went ahead and put the charms of my choice on. I literally just take it and wrap it around, and I like to cross it over and wrap so it gets as thick as possible. You can use whatever color. I asked what her favorite colors were, so we are using purple. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just how I like to wrap it. I don't have the greatest dexterity, so we make do with what we've got. Just take it, tie it, make it tight, just like that, and you can kind of adjust how you want it. And then you just cut the excess. So here is the final look. I'm just gonna spin it around so everyone can see. This is how I make my jars. I like to layer them. You don't have to. Every practitioner is different in how they do these things, but this is how I do mine. And this is my first jar, being in a new city and preparing for my first market coming up in a couple weeks. So that's exciting. Let me know what you guys think about this. If you feel inspired to make your own, if you learned anything new. Follow me on Your Petite Witch on Instagram. Thanks for watching.